Hello.
Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh, what a crowd. I thought he said that the chairs were the microphone. He's like, the chairs are the microphone.
He did make it sound like the chairs were the microphone.
But they're not.
He said they were going to be like magic and we didn't have to do anything. And we had to pick these up.
No, but
Is this magical, Walt?
Everything's
Walt.
magic. Everything
We're
is
just
magic.
kidding. We love you.
Hi, you guys.
Hi.
I am so excited to be here. Here at the 92nd Street Y, where culture is mother, and here I sit with two lil bros.
Oh my God.
If you know, you know. And here's what I know. The razor-tongued legends to my left have made the deserved acrobatic leap from pop culture commentators on the Solo Cup sidelines to pop culture icons on the Golden Hilltop. And we are all so proud. And your individual accomplishments in every possible medium are so impressive and storied, be it music, film, television, bonobos. But tonight is a night for the readers, Katie's, publicists, and finalists, all of whom are represented tonight. So I just want to welcome one more time Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang.
It's like, it's beyond wish fulfillment to have you here. I mean, like, this is, when we started the podcast, I think it was like a way that we could get together and just talk about the things that we loved, and it came from that place. And then when you became a true topic on our podcast because of our love for you, and then you came on, and it was just, I think, this moment in the podcast that we both look back on as one of the highs of doing it.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you guys know the Maggots and Magic episode of Las Culturistas, it was like three people exploding of joy, and I just, it's just the coolest that you're doing this, and we just think you're the coolest, and you know.
Oh my God. Well, I know, I feel like if you're a reader, you feel this way, where the magic of your podcast is you make Sudis of us all, where it feels like it's just the three of us sitting somewhere, but you're like, all right, I'm with headphones and they don't know me, but I'm talking with them. And, you know, I think I've had this experience with other podcasts before where when they get really successful, there's this little like, oh, it's not just me anymore. But it has never felt that way because joy and your friendship is so the basis for everything, and it just is the bedrock. So it never feels like you're turning out to the audience or it's a performance. It just always feels so authentic, and I just feel so proud. Yeah.
Come on. We're just a piccolo and a bassoon over here. We're not.
Yeah.
That's our timbre, and that's all we bring is just we're two squawking voices, and somehow that's transmuted into something really so meaningful to us, and yeah, that's it. I sound an octave lower than I usually do, and I think it's really working.
The real you.
Yeah,
This is the
real me.
But the change in your voice is so real.
Oh, over the years of the podcast?
Yes, I don't know if you ever go back and listen to like really old ones, but one time I went back and you were Piccolo-ish, girl.
Yeah. I was Piccolo.
You were Piccolo-ish.
Yeah.
And I was sort of like a hyper Piccolo.
Oh, got it. Like
what's a hyper Piccolo? Like helium, I guess.
Helium, piccolo,
Helium.
piccolo, and now we've matured.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
into
Right.
like sort of. I'm losing Piccolo, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, it'll still go deet 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 deet, but it's not deet 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 deet. It's more deet 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 deet.
Sure.
It's the years.
Wait, let's go back to the beginning.
Hillary Duff.
If we may.
Hillary Duff.
Come on out, Hill.
Hillary!
Talk to me about the beginning. Where were you? What were you? Who were you? Like, what were your apartments like? What were your dreams like? what was happening, and how did you come up with the idea to do this? Why have you done this?
Yes. There's a new detail in the origin story that I think is really important, which is that I remember that it was at a Think Coffee on Mercer Street.
Oh my God, yeah, that's like an iconic thing.
That's an iconic thing. And is it still there?
Yes.
Yes.
You were there today?
How is
Fuck off.
Do they still have like the
Coffee?
The most? Do they still have coffee? They have like the most beat up board games. It's fine. No, I went every day to Think Coffee on Mercer.
Well, we used to record on the corner of Mercer, where Dojo used to be. These are for my old.
Yes, Dojo.
And when they got rid of Dojo, or they replaced Dojo with like a knockoff Dojo, that was very hard for us.
For the community.
So we went to school around there, and like I think it was at that Think Coffee that we sat down and we had like a Google Doc. This is all coming back to me now too. We literally were like, okay, what could ideas for the podcast even be? Because we thought for a second it was going to be like a choose your own adventure, a classic Bowen Yang idea.
Logistically impossible idea. Like, to go to the library, go to episode 952. Like that's crazy. Why did I ever think that could be?
And I was like, what if we talk?
Yeah.
And then I think it was this, but literally out of necessity of needing to have segments, like our producers, Forever Dog, which is where we started, and they said like, well, can you have some segments? And we came up with I Don't Think So, Honey, because it was something that we would just say to each other whenever we thought the other was being not right.
Yeah, not right.
Like, oh yeah, I don't think so, honey. No, sweetie.
No, sweetie.
Like, I don't think
no,
so.
sweetie is like the addendum that's kind of gotten chopped off. It was, I don't think so, honey. No,
sweetie. Yeah, no, sweetie has gotten lost to time. Yeah.
Kind of the Katie of I Don't Think So.
Yeah. But no, sweetie was definitely in there. And then we had another segment, which was the culture of the week.
Yes.
Which is where we said what the culture of the week was, and it was always Disney related, and the bit just wasn't landing.
It wasn't landing. Every culture of the week thing was an element of the Disney parks.
Yeah.
It was like turkey legs one week.
Yeah, we did turkey legs.
Tower of Terror another.
Yeah, of course, just highlighting the culture.
When did you start having guests, or from the beginning?
Yeah.
From the beginning, the second episode. Our first guest was Anna Dresden.
Yep.
And a very good friend of ours. And then I think we only started having no guests like 4 or 5 years in, like during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Or during lockdown was where we were like, okay, it's harder. It's both harder and easier to book people, but let's just like, if we can just get on a Zoom, then like that's what the easiest thing is. I think I'm getting this timeline right.
Yeah, it felt like the pandemic was this moment where the podcast got like a weird, and feels so weird to say, but it really felt like, how are we going to keep doing this? Because I remember Bowen had gotten Saturday Night Live, and I had moved to LA, and it was like this question of, how are you going to do the podcast? And I was like, well, I'll travel back and we'll always be in person because the podcast has to be in person. For sure it can't exist if it's not in person.
Right.
And it was like this thing of, we had made this decision, and then the world made a decision for us that we were going to have to be virtual, which ended up being this nice, cool thing, because then we could reach out to people regardless of where they were in the world, because everyone now had Zoom proficiency, and they could log on and be our guests from anywhere, which was fun for a minute.
Yeah. It's still fun.
Yeah.
I still don't mind a Zoom guest.
But Matt hates it. I'm just so happy that you're both back in New York.
I love it.
Where you belong.
Are you a lifer here, you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So am I.
I think I've realized I'm a lifer here in leaving. In leaving, I've now come back, and I'm like, because it's like, it is true. Like, you talk about that Think Coffee, like where you recorded the podcast. I remember when I had been away from New York for a couple of years because of the pandemic, I had come back actually to do the Bonobo shoot. And
Wow.
I could say a lot. But I got a little high, and it was raining.
For the shoot.
Yeah, for the shoot, no. But I remember I was
I
walking.
want to be free for bonobos.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's like, use the space. Something they really said. Something they really said. We could have been high for that. Totally.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It was a very straight. They were lovely. That was a great experience.
It was so fun. There was flamingos. Anyway.
Real fun.
Yeah, there was
no, not real. Not real.
Like there was plastic flamingos.
Lawn flamingos.
Plastic.
Yeah. But I remember I was walking around New York and I hadn't been there in so long, and it was raining. It was like February or something, and I was feeling like the cold on my skin in the rain. I'm walking around the Lower East Side where we went to school and just seeing all these landmarks like, oh, remember when that happened there, that happened there. You'd only have history here because we both kind of grew up here. Mm-hmm. And then I got really emotional and I was like, this is my home. You know, like we're all so lucky that New York is our home, and I just feel like, you know, I'm, again, very happy to be back as well.
Welcome.
But in LA, there's no memory. Like you don't see, like, there's no emotional landmarks in LA. There have to be.
There's barely any emotion in LA.
Wow.
Here's my question. As you guys have gotten so successful, delete.
Betty,
Kylie?
Delete time. I'm shocked that you can't hear a filter in the podcast. That like now that you have more ears and eyes, and I just am so pleased that you don't seem to censor yourselves at all.
Probably could more.
But I love it. It's just getting better and better. And I wonder, how do you protect that unfilteredness? Do you just try not to think about that more people are listening to you?
Well, I think the fact that, so to go back to the Think Coffee, the fact that Matt's idea was, why don't we just talk? I mean, that is the lowest concept idea, but in the best way. No. Oh my God, yeah.
That's why it works, people.
That's why it works. The reason we've kept doing it is because it's the easiest, like, most turnkey thing. It's like, besides culture, the only thing that's gone is Culture of the Week. That's the only difference from the beginning of the podcast. And I think the reason maybe I think there's a little bit of a filter. There's a light gauze of a filter on the show now, maybe, because I think we don't want to like run afoul of anybody or necessarily.
Right.
It's weird to want to be in the industry that you have so much shit to talk about.
Yes.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we were doing it backstage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and we were like, oh, this will be just this without shit talking people. But it's funny because like things happen, and then all of a sudden you meet that person.
Right.
And it's weird.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, can you ever tell that their publicist is like, just so you know, they said your show was written by third graders.
And let me say, a show I would die to be on.
It's like a 90s primetime soap. It's amazing.
Thank you for saying that, because finally today, I was like, you know what it is? It's just a soap.
It's a soap.
And it's actually quite a good soap.
Yes.
Because on a soap, like, who wants to hear about, like, people's drama that could really actually happen? No, I want to hear that Bradley Jackson was at the insurrection.
Yes.
Of course I want to hear about that. Of course she should go to space.
I forgot. Oh, spoiler alert. Betty's watching it, by the way.
Well, I've told them I watched all of season 1, have skipped season 2, and last night started 3. Yes. So I've seen Bradley in space.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know why she's there.
Why is she there?
Okay.
She was supposed to go to the border.
Do you want to hear my theory?
Yes.
This is my theory.
Okay.
So I think Jennifer Aniston was supposed to actually go to space. And I think that was where her and the John Hamm of it all was gonna take off. And I think that was like actually pretty heavy-handed metaphor that they, at the last second, either bailed on because they didn't have enough for Reese in that episode, or Jennifer said, I don't like how I'm gonna look in the space thing.
Right. I don't want. If I'm floating around, I can't like turn my face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like something Jennifer Aniston said, yes, I want to go to space, and then said at the last second, no, I don't want to go to space. Because that turn in the episode didn't make sense, which strengthens the series overall.
Yes.
Right, I agree. And I think I understand the draw to morning show in that I feel like right now in acting, there is a real war on choices and stakes. It's a lot of, to me, sleepy status in movies of like, I'm better than you and I'm a little sleepy and I'm just trying to get through this day. And on the morning show, it's like everyone is going for it.
Yes.
The highest stakes, like at war with the camera and their scene partner. And I, as someone who I don't watch Housewives, but I do understand the like, sorry.
There were some gasps, and it's okay. Like, we turn around and, like, Bryn Whitfield is here. Yeah.
But I do feel like those are Blanche Dubois women playing to the mezzanine in a sleepy status world. So that I understand.
Morning show is a show of Blanche Dubois, for sure.
It's just, honestly, like, when I realize it's Wednesday, I get so excited. I get so excited, especially because all season long, I've thought it premieres on Fridays. So I was waiting till Friday, and then I found out, oh my God, there's a new episode that's been out for 2 days?
When did you find out?
No, I found out on a Thursday. Okay, so this is why it was good. It's because I thought it was coming on Friday. Then my friend Abe said to me, you know it comes out on Wednesdays. You can watch it now. I left hanging out with him and went home and watched it. It is so fun. And I heard that what happens in the finale is the craziest thing the show has ever done.
Wow.
I'm so happy this has taken up this much time.
Has someone told you what happens already?
No one's told me what happens because let's just say I met someone in the wild who works on the show. And so I had a litany of questions.
And were they offended by what you have said about people? Okay.
They thought it was very apt.
Okay.
And they were like, yeah, and I just heard a little bit about the inner workings in a way that I'm obsessed with.
Oh my God.
That unfortunately goes through a filter because I can't get out here and say.
Okay, I'm sure you have been asked and answered this a million times, but to go to the way beginning.
Yes.
Have you already answered this a million times? What is the culture that made you say culture is for you?
Wow. I think we've both said privately to each other, like, our answers change all the time.
Yeah.
I think you have, I'm a little bit more like, I don't know, not as defined.
I think that
Charged eye contact across the room with hot actors.
With hot actors.
Yeah.
The only time that's happened.
Yeah.
I think mine are like very mainstream millennial in that like so American Idol was a really big deal for me because I loved music, and music is actually what I love most of all. And so why is that funny?
It's true.
The way they laughed so hard.
Have you heard of Christmas comes out November 3rd?
It's true. I said I won't stop until my Wikipedia says Matt Rogers is an American comedian, writer, actor, television host, and recording artist. And then I'll stop. No, but anyway, like when I was watching American Idol at like 11 or 12, yeah, sure, it was definitely the Kelly Clarkson of it all. It was big for me. There was the rooting for like, you know, this incredible powerhouse talent. But for me, what was so exciting about it was when they would do the theme weeks of Motown and 60s music and 70s music and 80s music. And I suddenly had like a vocabulary for all this music history to the point where I then went into school and my art teacher was like, today we're going to listen to Aretha Franklin, and I knew all the songs. And that's when I realized just how much music was out there and how much I loved every genre. And I think it really got me very interested because I'm the kind of person where when I love something, I have to know everything about it. So for that, I would say that was really the. And then honestly, like a lot of people that ask, like, what's your comedic influence and sensibility? I can answer that question, but there's nothing funnier to me than the way some of these people sing.
People on American Idol?
Like, okay, so in an American Idol performance, like, it would usually end with, like, a sustained belt, and that is so funny. Or, like...
It was the style back then,
It was,
though.
yeah, and the Mariah, Celine, Whitney style of singing, like, or just, like, the existence of pop stars in spaces, I think is so funny. I think that is why, ultimately, I am sort of, like, doing as this bit that's become real, like me as this like pop star, is because I do think that there's something really funny, and I've always thought there was something really funny about like capitalism and pop music and like the Christmas thing. It's just, I just think there's something so funny about it. And so to embody it, I think does connect to who I was as a kid.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would say for right now, like in my life, the culture that moved me, that like literally brought me out into the backyard and like I would sing and I thought that no one could hear and I wished to be on that show and, you know, I wanted to perform, but it was at odds with where I was growing up, and that tension, like I can really directly trace back to that show, which doesn't feel very special because that's everyone in America that's our age is like, oh, American Idol. No, but there is something
you were voting every week and watching
I was voting every week.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would vote for everyone just to get one person out.
Wait.
I would vote strategically and politically.
Wait, vote for everyone but one person?
Yes.
So it brings it fucks the numbers up.
Wow.
I was, so basically Jennifer Hudson being eliminated radicalized me.
Wow.
To game the system.
It radicalized me.
Incredible.
John Stevens was my enemy. And this means very little to anyone. But
Season 3.
ants were calling me after Jennifer Hudson was eliminated, asking why. And I was like, I don't know, Maureen, I'm trying to figure out myself.
Were you watching like by yourself? Were you with Chelsea?
My family loved it.
Oh.
My sister, actually, to give her credit, was the first one to say, I like Kelly. And I was like, no, it's Tamara, it's about Tamara. And then it so clearly was about both of them, but it was about Kelly.
Right.
I remember she sang stuff like that there on Big Ben week, and I was like, I was with my grandmother, and my grandmother said, that is the most talented person I think I've ever seen. And I was like, I think you're right. I was like, I think she's such a star. I'm obsessed with her. I love her. And then, you know, years go by and like...
Yeah. Were you ever going to audition for American Idol?
I would never have gotten to the place where I was comfortable enough with myself to do that. But I remember the second season, there was a contestant named Matt Rogers. And he still hangs out to this day. Like, he's like hosting stuff on like CMT and stuff. But I remember when he went out and auditioned, I was like, well, now I can never be on the show.
Right.
And it was the first time I knew what like a situational depression was.
Right.
But it was American Idol for me. It consumed my life. And then other things, like when I watched Lost, I knew I wanted to write television. And, you know, just the culture of Long Island, it has really seeped into my bones. But
Yes.
yeah, so that's what it is for me.
Beautiful.
Fabulous answer. Mine, I'm going to say, parallel track of like pop worship was this Taiwanese artist named Teresa Tang, and then at the same time Celine Dion, because it was Montreal. She was our god, and you know, we would do field trips downtown and go to the cathedral, and it's called like Cathedral Notre Dame or something, but we just as kids knew it as the church where Celine got married to René Angélil. And it was just watching her on TV and like watching her switch from speaking English to speaking French, singing in English, singing to French, it blowing my mind that someone was bilingual even though I was bilingual. Like, wild. And it was something really fucked me. And like, this is true for all of us. Like when she put out that video this year about her illness, like it was, I sobbed, and I'm not a sobber, but like it really fucking destroyed me because this is someone who, God, like means so much to people. And then to go, and then like with the whole like Titanic of it all, like I got to bring my, good up. My mom and my sister were in town a couple weeks ago. It's the only piece of theater that I can take my mother to, where she would understand what was happening and appreciate it. She knows Titanic, she knows Celine Dion. It's monoculture for like a Chinese auntie, And that is like incredibly meaningful that like you get to like share it up and then it gets downloaded back onto you or whatever. Like my mom was the one to like put on Celine on the TV. And so I think it's Celine.
I love that.
And
American Idol Celine.
Get this. So I too was obsessed with Celine at like 7, and then there was this other pop diva. Her name was Mariah Carey. And I remember at the time, this is how you know that Stan Wars are actually something that's deep within us. I remember feeling so threatened by Mariah Carey because I was a Celine stan.
You were Team Celine.
And then when I actually realized what Mariah's deal was, I was like, I'm jumping ship. That's my girl. Like, the Divas Live with Mariah, Celine, Shania.
Gloria.
Oh yeah, I mean Aretha. That was like the best night of my life.
Yeah.
To be a PA at Divas Live must have been the most terrifying experience possible.
We need that again so badly.
Yeah, we do.
Like we need Ari, we need Kelly, we need who? Olivia. We need Beyonce. We need Gaga. Oh my gosh, what a ripe time.
Yeah.
Maybe Rihanna would come in and I don't know, present if she doesn't want to sing. It's not that we don't want to hear her sing.
She doesn't want to perform.
We all heard what you just said. Okay, and when did you know this was true love? Like I know that at first you bumped heads famously, but what was like the first conversation or in-joke or moment where you were like, ooh, this is different? When was that?
Well, we say it's, so this is really what happened. I was invited by a friend on my floor freshman year to go to a sketch show, Hammercats, at NYU, and she was like, and my friend Bowen is gonna come, and he is in the improv group, so if you wanna eventually be in the groups, you should meet him, like, he is great, he's my friend, we have class together. And so we met and went to the show together, but there was this little Kylie Minogue tension, because I think you know what's really interesting? Like I can remember the moment where I met all of my best friends, and I clock it, and I remember it, and I always remembered that. And then we didn't start really hanging out until we both were on the groups, and there was like a commonality in that we had this interest, which was doing comedy at the school. We had all these friends, and then we also had like a shared language. I think just from being gay.
Yeah. But then, like, when did we know it was true love?
Well, I think that, I was always like, here's the deal, the real deal. And you know this just from knowing Bowen. But I remember the very first time I ever saw him perform, I just thought he was like a supernova. Like, I was just like, I was so like, shocked. Like it was so exciting to watch his energy, and like I was just like, wow. Like, and we were already friends, but I had not really seen you do a comedy performance, and like your energy and just what you bring to a stage and a group of people, it just was elevating the mood of everyone in the room. And I think I sensed something in that, because I think that something that I try to take with me every single day is it's my job to make people happy and provide levity and provide joy. And I knew in that very moment, I was like, he gives me a lot of joy. And there was something intangible about the joy that everyone in the room felt when he was doing what he was doing. And that's such a superpower and like a sixth sense that you can choose one of two things. You can be afraid of that and jealous of that and want to push it away or like, hate it because you're not it or you don't think you are. Or you can be like, I want to be closer to that person. I want to find out more. And then the luckiest thing that ever happened to me was that, at least he says, he felt the same way about me and what I do.
By the way, when the microphones are off, I am telling this person how fucking amazing he is.
Well, I'm just saying,
it's
it's like when you have that type of feeling towards someone, and then they say, I look at you like that, like I feel this way about what you can do, like it just makes you feel like you can because. And I was just talking today to someone about how, like when Rachel Bloom won the Golden Globe, we were at each other's. We were at your apartment, and we were watching.
We all remember where we were.
Yeah. But I remember we watched her win, and we watched her go up to the stage, and that was like our friend.
Yeah.
And I remember I turned to him, and I was just like, "Is this crazy to think that these people that we thought were special, actually are? Like, could we actually do this? And then every single day from that moment on, I'm talking too much, but I just saw it happen for more and more people until ultimately it's happened for him in this way that is so major, but I'm not surprised. You know what I mean? I'm so proud of him, but duh. You know what I mean? I've always known he was a star. And so when you see that person and they say to you, I've been asked to do a podcast, do you want to do one with me? Say yes.
That's so sweet.
Oh my God.
Well, I think that is the thing that I was trying to say at the beginning that is just the Teflon for you guys, where you just feel that constantly. It's the glue and what keeps it so authentic and so wonderful to listen to. The best parts are when you can hear the fizz between you guys. What was the moment in a recent episode where I think it was Sudi's recent kuntum. Naturally kuntum.
Good pronunciation.
Thank you. Where she was guessing your McDonald's order. And
She flopped.
Matt said that he wouldn't order a Big Mac because he thought there's tomato, and you could hear Bowen's brain explode.
Because he knows what I'm talking about.
But it's like hearing a best friend's brain explode of no one hates or loves you more than me in this moment. Of I'm so angry at you and love you so much,
that funny?
and that's
Yeah,
insane,
that is what
and
it
I'll
is.
never let this go, and it's making me so happy and so angry at the same time.
Yeah.
That's why I was crying in that moment. It is purely I love this person so much for all in this moment of total nonsense.
Yes.
He is being so, and I told him this recently. I was like, it's not the reason why Matt has had a really, really, really incredible couple years, but recently. But I think the reason, yes, give it up. But there's I told Matt recently. I was like, you are literally adorable. People love to adore you. You know what I mean? He just has that thing where it's undeniable. There is no reason why anyone would be like, that's not for me. None.
You gotta tweet the Teresa Giudice fans. They might kill me at BravoCon. If I die at BravoCon, it's the tree huggers.
It's so... They're called tree huggers. It's... God. Well, one thing about the Bravo fandom is that they are all mentally sound. Including us!
Including us.
Including us. Anyway, but the Big Mac moment is is just a pure expression of the friendship. I agree.
Yeah. Totally. And listening to you guys do live performances in Berlin and even listening to you guys do ads, like you feel like you're also stoned with them. Like, isn't this crazy? Like you could feel you sort of kicking each other under the table of like any situation. I mean, it's such a joy. We're all so grateful.
Ads are such a trip.
Ads are a trip.
Ads are so weird because they do this thing now where, peek behind the curtain, you can tell AI has written some of the ads.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And it's so infuriating because it's not written for humans to speak. So why would you expect us to speak it?
Right.
Wait, really? AI has written?
It's just like this syntax, like, oh, we're getting a president.
It's the ad police. You had an amazing top on.
Yeah, that was chic.
That was so stunning.
Wait, that was the chicest woman.
That was the chicest woman I've ever seen.
I needed her.
That was incredible.
Wow.
She's our next guest.
Yeah.
Yes.
I specifically said no chic women.
Yeah, I know.
Betty.
This says we can go until 8:05.
Ooh.
Oh.
These are audience questions. There are 160,000 of them. Okay. This is from Jet L.
Jet.
Who is your dream guest for the next season and why?
Oh.
I know who I would want to have, and it's Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Because I just wish for Bowen what I got to have with Kelly.
Oh.
It was so euphoric and such an incredible moment. Like, and to have what I just said and have that full circle moment with her, I want that for you bad.
Well,
Yeah.
That's so nice. It's not going to happen. Basically, okay, we know we saw. The first time I saw Titanic was with Bobby Campbell, her manager. Sweetest guy. Love him. He was like, I'm coming to the show. And I was like, great. He did not mention that she would show up. So what happened at the meeting between Dress and Air is Lauren goes, and Lady Gaga is going to introduce the first song. And then me in a room full of 300 people, I went, my faggiest moment at the show. I go, Lady Gaga? And then I saw her, and then Bobby introduced us at the after party, and I was like... And recently, I've said that, like, I will not be able to handle meeting her. She was so lovely, and then I was like 2 drinks in, and I was like, oh my God, I just had, like, the faggiest moment in my time here when Lauren said you were coming, and this is me talking to her in a crowded restaurant, me going, and I said, Lady Gaga? And she, like, her face kind of twitched, and she, like, looked around. Because, like, I shouted her name to her face in a crowded room. So I think I've really fucked it up with multiple people.
I don't think so. I think that kind of shit, like, endears you more to people than anyone could know. Because the truth is, she was fine.
She was fine.
And now it's something funny that happened, you know? Like, I told Kelly, like, I would approach her or take steps towards her and start hyperventilating crying. Like, I don't know. And how good would the Gaga episode of Lost Culture be? I mean...
Yeah.
I do think she'd be better on Stradiolab.
She'd be better on Stradiolab.
But we'd have a good episode with her. That's my dream.
Agree.
Lightning round, what housewives would you go to space with?
Amazing question.
I would go to space...
Candace.
I would go to space with Candace, deep space.
Deep space.
I think it could be fun to go to space with Alexia and Marisol.
Oh my God.
I think me, you, Alexia, and Marisol
Yep. That we would cut up.
would be a space party.
Yeah, for sure.
Favorite MILF in culture?
It's Betty.
Have you like grappled with MILFdom?
You know, I've realized it's a humbling. I think most people are under 30 in this house. It's a humbling moment when you realize the MILF section in porn is your age. Where you're like, wow.
Oh my God.
No.
It's yes.
What do you...
30. Anyway.
Yeah, but like, can I say like that happens before you know it because we went from twinks to like
To what?
daddy.
Yeah.
So fast, and now it's like what? It's like I was just a twink.
Right. you fully bypassed twung.
There was no. It was just weird, especially when I grow my facial hair out. I look at pictures of myself. I'm like, I guess, like it's not ever gonna be twink again. My body won't allow it. I tried.
Oh, I have this question too. What are your Broadway dream roles?
Oh my God.
I've told you what I want us to do.
I know what I want you to do too.
Book of Mormon?
That we should do Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
The movie version.
I think Roxy Velma.
No.
Wait, you think Roxy Velma?
He's Velma. He's
Oh.
Velma.
I'm
for
Velma.
Sure.
Okay.
So did you know that we once did at the Annoyance Theater in Brooklyn, God rest,
God rest.
we did a mashup. It was the music of Chicago to the story of Black Swan.
Henry Kapersky,
Of Chicago.
his ex-boyfriend, was just an angel, a genius, would do these shows where it was a movie soundtrack, like a movie with musical numbers from a different, similar in theme musical. Yeah. So there was what, like the music of Wicked with something else?
It was Devil Wears Prada.
Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, wow.
Like the wizard will see you now, and the wizard's like not great.
Wait, what?
That's like Devil Wears Prada Wicked thing.
Totally.
Yeah, but it worked. Like it was very like I think I'm Not That Girl was Emily Blunt.
Right. It all kind of tracks pretty neatly.
But I was Mila/Velma, and Bowen was Natalie/Roxy.
Oh, so you've done it.
We've done
it.
Wow.
But we would love to do it.
He's always like, you don't not always like this, but back in the day, I feel like you used to be like, and we should come out in the beginning, like we always want to do like a musical number sometimes at the beginning of our live shows. He's like, and we'll do the Hot Honey Rag. And I was like, I want the confidence you have to think.
Well, the Hot Honey Rag, when I was 12 years old when Chicago came out, learned the entire dance from the movie in my basement. It's amazing.
So you already had it. I would have had to learn it. And this is another thing. One time, remember when we did that live show in Brooklyn and you were like, and we'll have to start out singing Our Song by Taylor Swift?
Yeah, and it was great.
It was great. I didn't know it. I had to learn it.
That's right.
That's why I kept singing, Our Song is a scram and scream door.
Scram and scream.
Scram and scream door.
Was there ever a time in your career of auditioning that you auditioned for musicals? Like went in for big open calls or something?
For Broadway?
Yeah.
Never. I never went. You did.
I did.
I did too, and I had no business being there.
Yeah, but like, here's the thing. We definitely had business being there, but the environments make you feel fucking crazy.
Yes, yeah.
There's nothing like sitting on one side of a door and hearing someone with a
Pop belt.
perfect
Yeah.
voice.
Yes.
Just do it, and you're like, I have to go in now, and I didn't even want to come here.
Yeah, right. Yes, totally. Yeah.
When are you doing something?
No, if I had started voice lessons 10 years ago, I could have Rihanna's range now.
Okay, but that's
So-
actually huge.
Here. No, when I first was auditioning, I had the stoned confidence of a 21-year-old, like, yeah, I'll go in for stuff. And the only time I've ever been fired from something was a musical workshop of the Sylvia Plath musical.
Were you Miss
Were you
Plath?
Miss
I
Plath?
was the title role of Miss Plath. I did 2 days of rehearsals, and the director called me, and she was like, how do you think it's going? Oh. It's like, fully fired. Yeah. And then the last musical I auditioned for was the Addams Family musical, where I sat in the waiting room listening to people be like, ah.
Yeah.
And I went in there and was like, maybe I'm amazed at the way that you love me. It was
I used to sing
Bad.
Sunday Morning by Maroon 5.
wow. A great song.
Kind of similar to Maybe I'm Amazed.
It was
There's
not the right song for musical theater. We got fired from a musical improv group.
Yes.
Oh.
It was not. It was a musical improv group where you had to improvise the lyrics to karaoke tracks, basically. So
Yeah.
you would just have to memorize the songs, but then have like a grasp on meter and the way syllables fell into like beloved pop songs and make them funny somehow. It was so hard.
And he said that we need to take a class.
And we never did.
You need to take a class. Okay, what's, from Mackenzie, what's one thing you wish you could tell yourself from 10 years ago?
Oh my God. That's actually emotion.
Yeah. 10 years ago.
10 years ago, so 23 I was. I honestly, wow. I would have just been like, not only is it gonna work out, but it's gonna blow your mind. So just keep going forward and keep having good intentions and trying hard. And like I would also say, don't take for granted the relationships, because the relationships are everything. You know what I mean? Like all the amazing people that we've met along the way, including each other, it's just so incredible to see it all pay off in this way that's perfect. Like, it's just so cool. It's beyond incredible that Josh Sharp and Aaron Jackson have Dix the Musical. Like, and I would just say, like, have fun, follow what you think is fun, and don't be afraid. And like, it's because it's gonna work out. Like, just keep going. You know?
Yeah.
I think I would have said to myself, oh God, like just don't like just advocate for yourself or something. Like I think I still kind of have this weird like I don't have the gene in me that like shows up for me, and I feel like it was way worse back then, and I feel like now it's gotten a lot better. Like you know, it's okay. Sorry, I'm truly Sunday like zombie mode from work, but yeah, like 10 years ago. But I also think, and this is gonna sound ridiculous, I feel like not that much is different in a way that's really really nice and beautiful. And I'm like the essence of us is basically the same, you know.
I mean, that's like 10 years ago, that was like even before the podcast started, because we started that when we were 26. And I think that I never used to think of myself as a comedian because I didn't do stand-up. Like I think that was something that we shared too. Both of us were like really unsure about where we fit in the comedy thing, because you did improv and like, you know, people have had a future doing improv, but it's other things.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
What's the thing? I guess acting. I did sketch, like, and I was trying to do stand-up. It wasn't really clicking. I didn't know who I was, and I think that's because we were so other, like in our comedy community.
Yeah.
It's like there was no one who had a career that I could look up to. Like they're like me and they're doing it and like the way I want to do it or can see myself doing it. So it kind of afforded this nice choose your own adventure of like our entire comedy careers, to the point where like when we started Las Culturistas, I think that's why it worked, is because we weren't trying to be anything but ourselves, because we didn't see ourselves like working. You know what I mean? Like it didn't with who, like where, who, what was the blueprint to follow? Blueprint. I was just on Long Island drinking beers.
Today?
Yesterday. I had a pumpkin beer.
His favorite.
I had 3 actually. But I think that like sort of wilderness of the entertainment industry and comedy and us not fitting in it just allowed us to be ourselves. And so maybe that's something. It's just encouraging yourself to go back in time and be like, be yourself. It will work.
And this is not me just like jerking us off, but I think on that note, like I think we like became this nice mental model for other comedians that we were friends with to be like, you can also, this is a viable pathway for comedy, or like it's a way for you to at least make some money off of doing comedy where a lot of those opportunities are scant. It's like, I think look, just get 2 people who are funny like on stage to like sit down in front of a microphone and then have like conversations where you listen and you feel like listening to Pat and Kat and George and Sam and like everybody. I'm just like, oh, I feel like I'm in the room with them, and like that's I think that was a nice. I think I'm not saying we set the trend. I'm saying we I think we, gave a blueprint for other people.
The I Don't Think So Honey live shows when we were doing them too, like, oh, thanks. Oh. But that was one of the first times where we realized, bring them back so we can really get canceled. I think about ones that have been on the live shows and I'm like, oh my God. But like, that was the first time where like, we got 50 of our peers all up on stage, and you would never have seen people on the same bill like that, just because of the way that the New York comedy community was at the time, and it felt like not like, oh wow, we did this, but we're a part of this, and it's bigger, So watching the comedy community change and us being involved in that was so special.
Yeah.
And now it's sort of branched out even further. It's like, you do see so many more people. Having opportunities and getting to show off what they can do than you did 10 years ago. So maybe that's another thing, is like telling that generation of comedians 10 years ago, like, there's a place for you. Like they're gonna listen.
Yeah. I feel like everything you guys do, I feel like, how did they know to do that? Like your most recent single. I'm like, that is the most genius, amazing, like, so it's the niches you have created and found are so inspiring. And how amazing to have your friendship and podcast be this touchstone or this thing that you're gonna take the whole way. I mean, like, my daughter is going to be 3, and her first best friend, I'm like, can Zadie go to college with her? Like, they must stay together. And hearing you guys on the podcast as your careers explode and your lives happen, it's so wonderful to hear you both be like, oh, come on, get over yourself. Or like, come on, celebrate yourself, like in the exact waves that you need to be there for each other, and it's just so beautiful to listen to. And we all love you so much, and it's 8:05, baby.
Betty.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for doing this, and just from the bottom of our hearts, like, everyone, thank you so much for even wanting to come to something like this and for listening to us. Whenever anyone comes up on the street and says, I'm a Katie, or I'm a reader, I'm a publicist, or I'm a finalist, bold. But I love that energy.
Huh?
A couple people have said they're
people have identified as a finalist, and I go, wow.
Whoa.
Oh no, I admire it so deeply.
Yeah.
I really do.
But we just love you so very much.
What is a finalist but a reader de-cocoon?
Yes!
That's from WandaVision.
That's from WandaVision. Anytime we meet anyone who listens to the podcast, it's an immediate like, stop. We got to connect with these people because they're the ones who get us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So thank you for coming. It means so.
Thank you also.